Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Divinity Incarnate. My name is Marissa. I have been reading tarot professionally for 3 years now. Online, I do in-person things. So I've been at like retreats reading cards, and I obviously read cards in person, as well as online. I offer personal, private readings, year ahead readings, soul purpose readings, relationship readings, and if there's something on my website that I don't offer that you guys want to take a deeper dive into together, you can always send me an email and I can put together a custom spread for you. Love connecting with you guys and just, creating things that are truly supporting and beneficial and add value to your guys' lives. I've been practicing breathwork and meditation for close to 10 years now, and I've earned my certifications and credits through the Yoga Alliance and the International Breathwork Foundation, along with other credible organizations and academies. All that to say that I do offer now Kundalini yoga style breathwork and meditation containers where I guide students through a series of personalized breath and meditation exercises with a specific intention in mind. So if you are feeling like you need more creative energy in your life, creative juices flowing, I can curate a specific container for you to support you in that. And I also offer breathwork journeys, which is an 1 hour to 2 hour guided experience, which you enter an altered state of consciousness using a simple breath technique. And these altered states is what allows deep healing to occur and great epiphanies and insights to come through. Just some of my most profound realizations in life have come from these types of containers, these breathwork journeys. And I've maybe taken like a handful, maybe a dozen in this life. So you can find out more about all of my offerings on my website. You can subscribe to my newsletter to stay in the loop for online events and offerings and in-person events like community breathwork circles that I host every month in the Vancouver, Portland area, retreats, etc. And subscribing will just allow you to be the first to know about specials and promotions. So there are 3 piles to choose from today, 3 groups in terms of how to improve and or master your craft. It is an 8 of Pentacles inspired reading. This first group is with the Zodiac Tarot deck. Here's an up close view. Group number 2 is with the Light and Shadow Tarot deck. And lastly, this is from the Antique Anatomy Tarot deck. So take your time. You can use a random number generator. That's my favorite way to select piles, groups for pick a card readings, if nothing else stands out to you. And we'll get right into our readings. Group 1, welcome to your reading, how to improve or master your craft, whatever your craft is. I'm very excited to get into these readings with you. Please know that I do offer personal, private readings, record and send off type style readings. And I also offer one-to-one live Zoom sessions in addition to a myriad of other services. And you can check out all of my services by heading to the links in the description box below. That's it for now in terms of announcements. Just know that if none of these piles resonate, there might just not be a reading here for you, at least at this point in time. You can always come back. So it's interesting, this the energy that continues, the message that continues to be conveyed here, group number 1, in terms of mastering your craft. I feel like I might be dealing with a group of people that resonate. If you guys know your human design, I feel like I'm dealing with a bunch of generators. That doesn't have to be the case, but essentially human design, I'm gonna butcher this, but essentially we each design in a specific way. Yeah, we can all resonate with that. Our soul comes down with a specific intention, and groups of people or various groups of people hold different types of patterns or a different kind of underlying blueprint, in addition to the unique ways in which they are meant to carry out their soul's purpose. And so there's manifestors, generators, reflectors, and I think it's manifesting generators are the main human designs. And long story short, generators' purpose essentially is to not do anything. This is a fine line. to learn how to do this in this culture, right? But to not do anything unless it brings them absolute joy and absolute contentment. So a big part of like you mastering your craft and improving your craft is, does this bring you joy? And does this light you up? Are you having fun with what you're doing? And there is also a message of appreciating how far you've already come. Some of you might need to hear that. With all this, there is quite a bit of Mars energy here with the Emperor, and even the Ten of Cups is showing some Mars energy. And so there can be a lot of like pushing ahead and like, you know, with this Taurus energy, like constant cultivation and almost like stubbornness to a fault. And so I feel like between the Aries energy of always pushing forward, there is also this beautiful Hermit energy coming through, and a necessity to balance, you know, the instinctual drive and almost like acting without thinking energy of Aries with this deep introspective energy of the hermit, and being able to understand that productivity, where like the Emperor and Taurus energy is like productivity is like what I can see, right? Productivity is like what I can create. Hermit is balancing that energy with understanding productivity is like taking time, taking space, allowing new ideas to come through. And I feel like it's definitely a balance. Like your guides are saying to keep going, to be practical, to keep laying your roots, to keep toiling, and to, you know, set up a system for yourself, right? Where you are like, this is the day that I'm going to do it. Like set up like a calendar. Like these are the days that I'm going to focus on this. These are the days I'm going to focus on this. Knowing what your ultimate goal, the Ten of Cups tells a story of knowing what your long-term goal is, and like keeping the vision alive of what's going to bring you this long-term happiness, this long-term joy. And knowing that it is possible. It's not just planted there as something that is like meant to be a carrot on the stick, but with like literal, I know we've heard this, but like hard work, but also like when it feels right? When you set up your system, when you're tuning in to like a good way to carry out this craft, or to, it seems like there's a lot of like structure here that is being highlighted, like putting together a good amount of structure that also leaves room for rest and doing nothing really, and almost like boredom in a way, because I feel like, again, you guys aren't going to put forth your best work when you are doing something because you have to versus like because you want to. And it is a fine line, because when you're doing something that you really love, no, is it always easy to wake up at like 5 a.m. in the morning or 6 a.m. in the morning to do what it is that you want to do, or what you know, when it like push comes to shove. But ultimately keeping your long-term goal in mind, and ultimately, is it something that like brings you a lot of happiness, that brings you a lot of joy? Joy is definitely the key in you learning how to master this, and mastering it in a style that is unique to yourself. In terms of making decisions, you guys might feel like you have a different direction to go, or like there's something in your work that might have to do with like maybe needing to come up with new ideas, or something about choices, like consistently making choices in some way. And there is a message here about leaning into those things that make most sense to you, or that like you're excited to make. I was watching a podcast episode about Aaron Doughty, and this is coming up in my forefront. He has like 1.5 million followers on YouTube, which, you know, doesn't always mean anything, but this is, I feel like, a pretty solid teacher on YouTube. And he was essentially saying that the videos that he noticed would do the best on YouTube were videos that he was genuinely excited about making. And there's something about like infusing, it's like this card reminds me of you're being infused with like the creative spark of the universe, or you're like, when you're happy and joyful, you're like aligned. That means you're aligned with the intention of higher self, right? And so when it comes to making decisions, or coming up with ideas or topics or whatever it is, themes, whatever it is that you're doing, what would you be stoked to hear about? What would you be stoked to like sit down and watch? What would you be stoked to like engage with as a message here? And the message with third house and communication, this Gemini is all about harnessing social media, you guys. This is the day and age for it, the age of Aquarius. So there's like a pretty straightforward and clear message here that playing around with social media, getting your word out is what the third house is all about. How to get your word out and the best way for you to get your word out. And in terms of your craft and what it is that you feel like will bring you long-term success and bring you kind of this like this feeling of having it all, having everything, and having like maybe even like an income, multiple streams of income, or income that seems like you can be like more hands-off with it, like with this Hermit energy and Gemini energy too, and Ten of Cups energy. This is like very much so like putting in the work when it feels right, and then like being hands-off, like the income is still generating even when you're not always like cultivating the seeds, even when you're not always like, you know, there overlooking, or it's like, for example, I was just having this conversation with a soul sister yesterday about when you're like a fitness instructor, because we're fitness instructors, and how it's hard because like it can be, because a big part of like how you make money is like your body has to be, you can't be sick and you can't be injured. And so when you put all of your eggs in one basket like that, it's like, it's, you know, it's like you can't you're not making money unless you're teaching a class, or, you know, if you're sick, you know, what's going to happen? That's your only source, your only stream. And so I'm getting for you guys, like what's really important to you in terms of this long-term success is having something that continues to like generate on its own, something that's cultivating on its own, where you don't have to be so hands-on. But yeah, there is definitely a message about setting up a system to take charge, to spring into action, and to do it even when it feels ridiculous, to do it even when it feels like you don't see the results of it, right? To do it even when it's like, okay, you're planting the seeds and it's like a slow process, like as the roots are beginning to form, but don't underestimate how quickly we have a garden out front. My daughter, my partner, and I planted some tomatoes. We just took some little cherry tomatoes and planted it in our garden bed. Like we just cut them in fourths and quarters and just like planted them. And one of them out of nowhere just shot up. Right. This might just be a message too, especially with this Seven of Cups. This kind of reminds me of like just one of them like shooting up, and it's huge. I wish I could just like point my camera outside the window, because it just happened. Like I'm like, literally, when did this happen? Because we're like here every day. But once, you know, a couple weeks, whatever, for the roots to form, and then out of nowhere, like this success is just like brimming. Right. And so this also, I feel like this analogy is a reminder of like putting in the work consistently. What this tells me too is you guys might be doing something where you're like putting out videos, or you're putting out, you know, your message, or you want to do that. And it might not seem like anything's like gathering speed or gathering momentum, but you never know when that one thing is going to pop off. Right. And so to keep going. And then, yeah, because it's like, it's hard to discover, you know, get discovered when there's like millions, if not billions of people like doing similar things, or just like doing things in your field or on the internet or whatever. And so you'll definitely, you know, I feel like surprise yourself the more that Eight of Pentacles in general is just like the ultimate card of like Taurus, maybe more so like Capricorn vibes, because Taurus, what I love about Taurus, and this is kind of the message, so this goes, but Taurus is really like, I'm going to work hard on my own terms. Okay, so I feel like that is the message overall, working hard on your own terms. Like you're the one setting the rules, you're the one setting the structure, but structure is needed, is what I'm hearing. But again, and so in a way that is authentic and unique to yourself. But the thing is here, what is the thing? I just lost my train of thought, because I'd be going on tangents. Oh yeah, Eight of Pentacles within itself is a card of just like diligence and working hard and putting your nose to the pavement. I think that's the phrase. And I do want to share a quick story with you guys about like, there was one time I was like, I was sitting at, I feel like I had maybe like 21K or 22K on TikTok. And then I was like, I wonder like when I'll get to 30K. It was just like a fleeting thought. I'm not tripping about that. It's just like, it was just like a fleeting thought. And I like posted a video that I was like super excited about, and that like it was things that I was learning, and just I like to teach about what I'm learning, or just talk about what I'm learning, what I'm integrating on a soul level to hopefully, give more clarity to other people. And that video, I feel like it got like 250,000 views, got a lot of great engagement, and it bumped me up from like 21. I gained like 9,000 subscribers from that, or like followers from that, which is pretty dope to see how one video, like I've genuinely seen this. I was sitting at 21K for the longest time, but I've genuinely seen what your guides are bringing through like actually happen. And I've seen it like secondhand. I was watching, Zodiac Tarot when she had like 19K people on YouTube, and then she had been cultivating, like posting videos consistently, regularly, and just, she's an Aries too, I believe, and just cultivating her craft and just bringing her own unique flair and personality to it. And man, I watched her climb so quickly on here. Like within a span of days, she went up to like, I swear it was like 200K from 19. And so it's something like the message is that, like sowing seeds of happiness, doing it if it makes you happy, and bringing your own unique flair to it, cultivating on your own terms, but still making the terms, like sitting down, being practical, because we do have a lot of Mercurian energy with third house and the Hermit Virgo energy. So there is a lot here about communication. There's a lot here about structure. There's a lot here about writing it down, getting on paper, and like keeping your long-term vision in mind, like this beautiful garden that you want to cultivate, but then also knowing that, okay, we got to plant the seeds. We got to protect the garden from predation. We have to do the weeding. We have to water. There's care that also goes into it, but it is a diligent kind of thing, taking charge of your life, taking charge of these things, not like just waiting for it to happen, but, really taking action day in and day out, even when it's hard to show up. But what your long-term goal is, your long-term vision is, and knowing that you're not going to see these things sprout overnight. And also, the last message is taking time to where you're not obsessing over it, and you're taking time to like give yourself even a break. Like, you're not always like, you're not hyper fixated or hyper focused on it, is another message here. For some people that might be the answer, that might work, but when it comes to you, again, joy is the priority here. If it's something that brings you joy to do it day in and day out, sure, do it. But let joy be your guide. What do you feel good about, like, putting out there? What's like, the level of regularity? Does it feel good, to put out there? The Emperor energy is all about acting on instinct. Okay. So that seems like a good place to leave off. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but if this was your reading, my friends, go ahead and leave. Do we have a ram skull? Leave this ram skull, or leave something down below that makes you happy. It doesn't matter what it is. And like this video if it resonated, and I hope to see you soon. Hey, group number 2, welcome to your reading, How to Improve and Master Your Craft. Just a quick reminder that I do offer personal readings. I do one-to-one live readings. That's where we do the reading, a reading for about 30 minutes, and then we do like a coaching style session or dialogue, or I answer any questions for you real time. And then I also offer record and send off readings as well. The only other thing I want to say is, like, sometimes there's not a message for us in a particular reading, and that's totally fine. You can come back to this at any point in time when it resonates to return to it. So a very clear message coming through here. I feel like you guys in your craft is going through a restructuring, or it needs to go through a restructuring in order to be more successful. I feel like you guys might be a little stubborn to a fault in terms of how you think something should work out, or in terms of how you think your craft should look, how you think it should manifest, how you think your success should look, and how you think your success should manifest. But there is a very clear recurring message here about not being over practical with how you are creating. And I feel like there might be a degree of obsession here. I say this with kindness and understanding in my heart. Group number 2, there might be a degree of obsession here with how other people are doing it, how it's worked for other people, or I feel like there just might be a degree of like really trying to make something fit that I feel like it's not fitting, it's not working, because it's like not the perfect combination of elements in your particular expression for your particular expression. So if it feels like something has just been not working very well, I feel like the message here is to not fully give up. Like, don't fully throw in the towel, but it just needs to go through a rebirth, a restructuring. It just needs to go through, it's like the separating the wheat from the chaff that the Virgo represents, is taking what's working, but being honest with ourselves about the things that are superfluous and that maybe aren't necessarily working in our favor. I feel like taking a more intuitive approach is definitely necessary. And yeah, this between worlds, it's like you can feel that you're like moving in the right direction to some degree, especially it coming underneath the High Priestess. Like there's an aspect about what you're doing, the craft that you're doing, that is taking you in a direction, taking you in the right direction. I feel like it's like your approach to it has to change, or it has to go through some sort of restructuring or rebirth, or maybe you even take a break from it for a while or something, and then you come back to it. Because there's definitely a message about not giving up. But there is also a message about letting something go, or letting something like change forms. Just the form of something is going to change how you're delivering it, or the style that you're delivering it. And I feel like the way this is going to apply to everyone's life, or to everyone that's tuning in, is going to be different. And that's why I'm not getting a super clear message, or like more detailed message. But you guys to some degree might known this or felt this. Like 8 of Pentacles within itself is like, don't give up, continue like putting in the work. But also there might be an aspect of like comparison here, or like feeling like you know how the seeds should manifest once they've been planted. Okay, so Justice's energy tells a story about like, I feel like there's just like reaping what we sow is the energy of Justice. And so, and like it kind of talks about from the past. And so I just feel like there's just like past energies in your field that are kind of like working themselves out, or like lessons even could be this, like you're learning lessons here. It's interesting too that Justice and Strength and can oftentimes be like flipped. Like this is like a deck where kind of a unique deck, because I'm used to Justice being the 11 and Strength being vice versa. So it's interesting. I feel like that was just like a random thing that I noticed that I feel at some point will make sense probably after I'm done recording this reading. But I feel like just there's past energies playing out here, like karmic energies playing out here for whatever reason that might make sense to you. Like maybe maybe you're like in something that there's just something here about the way that you've related to things before, or things in your life. There might just be like, if we're used to like instant gratification or something, then the lesson within what it is we're doing is going to be on like patience, and not thinking we know when something is going to arise, or when something is going to come into full bloom. So that's definitely, I'm not sure how that's going to apply to everyone, but there is definitely a message about past lessons, past actions, just kind of like balancing themselves out. So I feel like this message is pretty straightforward. Group number 2. you guys are in this strange, and I'm picking up on it. Like, I definitely feel like I'm in this strange, like, in between. Like, I'm not sure, like, it's like I'm not sure where to go from here. It's kind of the energy that's coming through. And I feel like you guys will kind of know the answer to that once you let this current form kind of fall away, once you kind of stop trying to like overanalyze and overcategorize and just overthink this thing. And if you can just let what is superfluous fall away. I don't know why I love that word so much today, but if you can just let what is just like redundant and just like too much, the things that you're just putting maybe too much energy in, if you could let those things kind of fall back, or at least take a break from it, go into meditation, let the right brain kind of come online more. And, I have various techniques, breathing techniques that are targeted specifically for, scientifically proven to activate different regions, hemispheres of the brain. And so I have a few of those to help bring creativity online. It seems like we've kind of lost our creativity. Group number 2 with, we've lost creativity to the analytical side of us and to the overthinking side of us and to the nitpicking and what's the word? Nitpicking, and it's like when you're trying to control every aspect of it, every aspect of something, and not letting it just like be a more authentic and original unfolding. It's like we're trying to like control every little aspect. And I feel like the spiritual lesson behind this is like releasing control. Absolutely. But also, where's your genius? Where does your creative genius lie? That's what Virgo is all about, is using natural skills and talents and kind of leading in the direction of those things, because it's the things that we're like, literally, this is about mastering our craft. And when it comes to our craft, it's the things that we're naturally good at, the things that like allow like creativity has time to really flourish. And so, giving it space and time, giving it the proper conditions to flourish. Yeah, because I feel like you guys are super in your heads right now about like where you're supposed to go and how it's supposed to look, and getting lost in like the details versus zooming out and allowing like yourself space, allowing yourself to be in environments and situations that allow you to come into a flow state, doing more things that allow you to come into a flow state. Meditation, running, being in nature, surfing, being around people like that bring you alive and that bring you into your heart and out of your head. But I feel like to some degree you guys are on the right track. But on another hand, it's like, I feel like there's an aspect of like suffocation here that I'm feeling, and that something needs to change forms. There needs to be a restructuring, and like the change that needs to happen is not going to come from your analytical mind, because it's the analytical mind that has brought you to this point of feeling like, well, I've like definitely hit a wall and don't know where I should go from here. And so, a lot here about turning up the dial on the right brain. And if it resonates to book a session with me, I do offer sliding scale payments to support people, because I feel like breathwork and meditation, the skills, the tools, the containers should be available to as many people as needed. And I cultivate containers. Like I will curate a container just for you. So like the exercises that we're doing, the meditations that we're doing, I can make something so it's just for you. It's literally just what you need. So if that resonates, maybe look into that. But I'm going to leave this here for now. I hope this brought clarity, confirmation, and peace to you. If this was your reading today, let's leave the infinity symbol down below to represent strength and almost like a rebirth. It also does remind me of just energy changing form, right? Forms just changing their expression. So give this video a thumbs up if it brought the clarity, confirmation, and peace that you needed, and I hope to see you soon. Hey, group number 3, welcome to your reading on how to improve and or master your craft. these readings have been really fun and just really cool to tune into, because definitely I feel like there's a lot of you guys who use like social media, etc., to get your message out there. And oh yeah, before I get too far into this reading, I do offer personal readings, you guys. I offer live readings, I offer record and send off readings. You can find out all of that in the description box below. And I do also want to say that there might not be a reading here for you today if none of the piles resonate. You can always come back at a later time. So yeah, Gemini has been a recurring energy. Mercury has been a recurring energy throughout these readings, which leads me to believe that you guys are harnessing the powers of the internet to get your message out there and to really create something long-term, create something that you're proud of, and creating something that brings you long-term success and fulfillment on every level. There is a message here that you guys have been working diligently towards a goal, towards a vision. And I feel like you guys are feeling a bit shorthanded by life. You guys are feeling a bit depleted, wary, should I go on? And there is a message here of sticking with it, staying on your path. And that I feel like you guys are going to reach a period very soon where it's like shit is popping off. I feel like you guys maybe have been in a place where it feels like you can't win. You can't get ahead. Maybe in some senses it feels like you're losing, even though you're like, this is what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. There is a message here that it's coming, that you're about to have a lucky break. Like divine intervention is stepping in and the Red Sea is parting, and you guys are going to receive external validation of all of your hard work, external manifestation, an external symbol of the fact that the work that you do makes a difference, and everything that you touch can and will turn to gold more and more. Maybe you guys just aren't seeing a lot of the external permission slips that make you truly believe that this is your right path. There's something here about collaborating and working with other people, and or at the very least like being inspired by other people, but still being authentic to yourself with the judgment energy. Don't do it the way other people have done it. That's not going to lead you to success. But taking your mask off, being real, being imperfect, being the flawed, beautiful human that you came here to be. And also I feel like allowing your heart to open and flourish in other areas outside of your craft is going to affect it, going to help it. I feel like taking it seriously is also something. It's also a message here. I feel like maybe you guys don't take yourself seriously, or maybe it's like what you're doing, you're like, this is kind of silly. Like, this is not really like going to change the world. But I'll never forget one of my teachers saying that like the way he moves in life is not necessarily like what he thinks practically is going to bring him the most success, or the most like, not even just on a success level, but just like the Empress energy represents just the creative energy, the energetic force, like the anima mundi, the spiritual force, or the creative force, I should say, not spiritual, but the creative force of incarnation. And she just wants us to create, right? Prakriti just wants us to create. And she doesn't care what we're creating as long as it's from the heart and we're nurturing something into existence. And so he often would say, my teacher would say, that if he can be sure if it is uplifting to himself, then it's uplifting to life itself, right? If it's uplifting to him, if it's bringing him joy, if it's bringing him connectivity, if it's bringing him a feeling of purpose, then he can be sure that it's infusing that into the lives of others and just into life itself. And so I feel like there's, a message here about staying true to yourself and not cutting corners, not, there's almost to an energy here of like, of being like, don't it's chill. You know, we don't know why other people have gained the success that they have gained. and the amount of time that they have. But as much as you can, keep it fun. Stay inspired by people, but don't expect your paths to like be the same. I mean, you could literally, take all, like, I'm just going to use the tarot field, for example, because that's like the best analogy I have. But like, you could like be taking all the ideas of other people, someone might be super successful on this platform and you're like, all right, this is the video that is bringing them success, so I'm going to do the same video. You could be utilizing all of their ideas and get no success from it because it's not authentic to you. Okay, but when you're doing those things that feel true to you, like that's when it feels like you're going to find like those moments where fate just steps in and it's like things completely turn around, when it seems like on a practical, analytical, left brain level, it seems almost impossible. Okay. But yeah, just being fair to yourself and being fair within whatever it is that you're in, I feel like is a message here. Like what lights you up, what brings you joy, and to not like let any sense of like bitterness or feeling like you're not winning or feeling like comparison, I feel like is definitely where it's coming from. And I'm not saying you guys are bitter people. I'm not saying that you guys want to feel bitter or that you even are, but to not let like this weird taste in your mouth linger too long. Wash that shit out, spit it out. Okay. Don't let it linger too long. Yeah. Because there's definitely so many lessons in everything that we're doing. And it's not just about what we think we want. It's not just about the end all be all goal that we think that we want. There's so many lessons here in your craft, this thing that you're just really trying to toil away at, this thing that really you feel like is going to bring you long-term success. But yeah, I feel like even linking up with people, there's a big message about like leaning in on other people, maybe collaborating with other people. Yeah, being fair overall. And yeah, I feel like too, there's something here. There's a message here about like a partnership, like maybe being distracting to you or something, but not in a bad way. I would like definitely like ride out any waves that are coming into your life. If there's like a new love coming in, for example, like ride that out, like ride that shit out and let yourself be carried away by that energy. And maybe that will give you the space that you need to come back to this in a much more authentic way. That could be a message for some of you, or for some of you, you might just be like being pulled away from this to a certain degree. And it's like, you're not going to give up. It's not about like stopping altogether, but it just might be that like other areas of your life need tending to, and tend to those things. And when it feels like it feels right to come back into balance with this, or to reintegrate this craft as being a more highlighted area of your life, then do that. It's definitely, there's not a message here by any means of giving up or stopping. Okay. I just want to be clear that you're on a good path, that this is like a good vehicle for you to express yourself through. But again, to let go of comparisons, and to lean into the tool house that you have, lean into the different ways that you could create, the different platforms that you can create on. Just being more creative in general with how you're delivering this message, and leaning into those ways that feel authentic and that feel good. Like, there's people reading tarot on TikTok that are getting hundreds of thousands of views and so much engagement, but if that doesn't genuinely call to you, then like, don't do it. But if there's something there that's like a curiosity, then maybe you cross-pollinate, you bring your craft, I'm just using tarot as an example, right? Because it's easy, because it's my field. So again, let this apply to how it applies to your life. But bringing your gifts and talents into a different arena, into a different like platform, that can be a way that you're cross-pollinating, and that you're just like getting your message out there. But there definitely is a sense here that like, I feel like things are going to shift for you more quickly than you think. You guys might also just like play around with the different types of messages you're delivering, something like that. Like, it doesn't have to just be this one thing all the time, but just like create in different ways and see what feels good. And maybe even just like you'll continue to gain inspiration for these different things that you're doing. I am getting the sense that you guys might have your hand in like different kinds of things, different buckets. You're not putting all your eggs in one basket, but you're allowing that creative flow to just flow through you in ways that feel good, in ways that feel authentic. You're trying to do that more and more. But yeah, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, and just like get yourself in this groove. I feel like you guys have been working at this for some time, maybe for some of you guys, probably years, and just like feeling like you definitely have some degree of success and some degree of recognition and some degree of feeling proud about how far you've come. But I do feel that you're just, in terms of scale, you're like, maybe the reason why you want to maybe not to continue to do this, or wondering if you should continue to do this, is because it's just not on the level that you want it to be, and the level that proves to your mind that, okay, this is something that is sustainable. This is something that's like worth my effort, worth my time, worth my energetic resources. But I feel like, yeah, there's something right around the corner. There's a big break for sure. There's a big manifestation of like, yes, this is bringing in a windfall of success. This is definitely worth your time, right? There's like going to be an external thing that tells you, that shows you, that happens, that like, yes, this is worth my time and energy. But yeah, I'm gonna leave this message here for now. This is a beautiful message. If this was your message, let's leave something below, like a double something, whether it's two of something that makes you really happy, whether it's 2 birds, 2 bees, maybe leave the birds and the bees, maybe leave the birds or 2 bees down below, or 2 flowers or something, to represent this being your pile if you have nothing else that you want to share. And I do hope to see you guys soon. Much love.